Hey guys, we got a new video. We're doing a Samsung S8 LCD repair. Just want to show you. We're going to do a complete LCD with the frame already included. So we purchased this. This is actually a little bit better because when it comes from the factory, the frame is nicely installed. You don't have to worry about lifting. It's only a few bucks more, $20–$30 more, and then you don't have to worry about when you put the screen down, you're gonna potentially put it down wrong, and then you have to heat it up, lift it, and you could potentially crack it. So put that off to the side here. For video purposes, for the speed, I just kind of want to show you kind of what you need to do. First, you'd have to heat this up. I kind of already heated it up already. You got to be very careful with this because you can crack it, but you just heat it up. And with a Sesmo, you literally start to pry this open. You have to be very careful as you start moving through this. A lot of times I use like a playing card, like for example, like something like this. I'll use like a business card, and I'll get underneath here where we'll start to separate the glue. You just have to be very careful and very patient. For the sake of the video, I kind of already did it already, but as you can see, there's really no scratches. You just have to take your time. It took me about 30 minutes to separate, but once you separate, you have to be careful in these sections here, because if you dig a little too deep, this is the wireless connector, you can actually cut the cable. Okay, so I disconnected that. There's a little connector here. Leave that off to the side now. The next step is to take the bolts off. Okay, take all these bolts off here. And this LCD was completely shot, so just to speed up the process here, I'm going to disconnect these. Sometimes they get a little stuck in here. You just gotta pull them out a little bit. Just gotta wiggle them out. Do things at the same time. Pop those out. Pop that out. Alrighty, so we're taking these out here. Almost done. Hopefully we can speed this up in the video. But this is a Samsung S8, and the customer had dropped it and the whole LCD broke. Okay, so now we got those out. That's great. Now we want to, this usually should just pop out. We might have to reheat this, but actually that might not be so. So these little plates pop out. Okay, I'm going to show you that. They should just pop out here. Okay, just be careful not to dig in too deep. Should be little clips. Okay, one second. You can probably start up here too. And watch out for this. This is the wireless connection. It needs to be lifted too. this just should pop up here, just like so. And the great thing about this is you don't have to take the LCD out. Okay, so this pops out. That's the wireless connector. Put that to the side. And now we're going to take this part out here. This is the speaker. Shimmy this out of the way here. There we go. This pops out there. Okay, and now we are left with disconnecting everything. So this is the LCD connector. So basically we literally have to take everything out, put it back into that phone. Good thing is this has the home button connections, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to disconnect this. This is the battery. Connect all these little connections here. Now we have some screws over here too. This is the, try to keep all these bolts in order. There's the head jack. That one in order. Keep that in order. Okay. We're literally going to take apart everything, which sometimes makes it a little more difficult, but okay. Disconnect all these little connections here. Disconnect the camera. Okay. These connections, I like to disconnect from the charging port, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you ever break one of these connectors here, these are the internet wireless connection, you can always just replace this part. But if you break one of these off the motherboard, you gotta buy a new motherboard. Unless you know how to micro solder. It's a different story. In most cases, you're gonna need to buy a new motherboard. So I'm gonna try this out. Sometimes a little heat helps. There's a little bit of heat. Just gently pry that up. Seems like that's caught underneath there. This is all connected together. Okay. You can actually see if you can disconnect the motherboard. In this case. Yep, let me show you here, sorry. Okay, this becomes loose here. Disconnect the battery. And we're gonna heat this up too. Careful with some of these little connections here as well. Okay. Again, this, buying the whole LCD kit gives you a new frame. And it's just a cleaner look for the customer. It feels like they get a brand new phone, as opposed to buying just the LCD, which is cheaper. But at the end of the day, you know, if you don't set it down right, you know, you have like the LCD could lift. You get just kind of like a messy look. But this pops out gently. It's just like a big puzzle. Let's heat it up a little, just be careful. One second, guys. Alright, so we're back here again. And we are heating this up gently. So I'll pull this charging port out and see if we can get underneath here. To disconnect this. Okay. Okay, there we go. Extracted the motherboard, perfect. Now we're gonna have to take that head jack out. Just gonna be careful. Keep that up. And we're gonna get underneath here. Pop that up. There we go. Boom. Pop that up. Okay. Okay. Apparently that little thing sticks out like that. Alright, cool. Alright, so that's going to go in first. Alrighty, so now let's see what we're missing. I like to take a look at this. Okay, we get that metal plate there. Okay, we got our connector here. This little guy goes down here. Okay, we have our other connections for our power buttons here. We gotta now pull out our speaker and our cameras and this part. So what I like to do, so you don't get confused, is put in the parts that you have to take out. Okay? For example, that piece. Hey, give me a head jack. Who's got a head jack? Like a headpiece. Give me one that's in the front. It's the iPhone thing that's in the front. I just want to check this to see if this thing plugs in. Yeah, the one that's sticking up there, the top one. It doesn't have the plastic around it. It's in the little case. It's the iPhone that's sitting on the top. It's in the plastic container. See it? No, the head jack, the iPhone, the head jack, headset. It's in. Okay, so yeah, that little thing, if you see that sticking out like that, it's supposed to be that way. Anyways, pop that back inside. Okay, and now we're gonna continue with, and then we gotta remove the battery, but meantime, let's remove some of these head jack things. Like the earpiece right here. Let's be real careful taking this guy out, because they love to break. So, yes sir.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Sometimes you gotta heat this up pretty well. And they usually have these little things underneath here that pop up. Just be very careful. Sometimes they break. So just be careful. Okay, little adhesive. Should be fine. Okay, there we go. This one comes with a little adhesive too. Sometimes it's not necessary, but let's meantime take it out. This one seems to have its own adhesive, so we're gonna pop that one right in there. Okay, there we go. So that's back in there. Next step is this one. This is the camera. Okay, just be careful, not too much heat, because sometimes you can blow out the camera. Autofocus might not work, whatever the case is. Just gently pop it out. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this back in here. Make sure there's no dust. That looks pretty good. Okay, put that back in there. Great, almost done. What else? Look, we need this other plate right here. See this? See this plate? That's the proximity sensor. Okay. Heat this up. Looks like that's a piece of tape. Oh, that popped out. Pop this back in here. We're almost done. Make sure nothing came out. Okay, that looks good. Get our connectors here. Next step is the battery, and we're almost done. Heat up the battery pretty good, not too much, just enough. You might have to heat this up a little more. Sometimes from this end too. This LCD is shot, so okay. There you go. Take the battery out. Let's get some tape. This has tape already. Okay, great. Battery's out. Now, everything looks like it's out of this phone. Just double check. Little connectors. Oh, last piece. That's why you always gotta double check. Forgot to take out the vibrator. Just pop it out. Okay. This goes right over here. It's already had the adhesive from the old one, but make sure we're popping that in right. Okay, there you go. Popped in. It's like a puzzle. Okay, all the connectors are there. Power button, home button. Alright, so now we're gonna connect back the motherboard. Make sure there's no bolts, nothing magnetized to it. Okay. Make sure everything looks in place. This we might be able to put in first. Okay. Okay, get that charging port in there. This piece has to bend a little bit, so maybe this has to go in first. Okay. And get this guy in there. Okay. This goes in there, this goes in there. That's the microphone. Okay. Now we got to get these guys in place. This goes underneath here. This little guy goes underneath here. All the way at the bottom. Goes all the way underneath this guy. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Alrighty, now let's get that head jack back in there. Okay. Everything seems to be in place. Getting there. Oh, that jack fell out. Okay. Now we can start putting everything back. So this was the head jack screws. Let's make sure this, okay, so this was the outside one right here. Oh, actually no, this was here. Make sure you don't mix these up. This one goes here. This one goes here. 35. Make sure everything is exactly where it should be. Okay, the connections are down. And you see how I kind of didn't have to disconnect these. Again, these can break, especially these. I've done it before in the past. Not on an SA, but older model iPhones or Samsungs actually were known. S3s, you pop that off, boom. What are you going to do at that point? So make sure everything's connected properly. Connect the cameras. Okay. Everything looks pretty pretty well connected. Okay. Let's now connect. 1 second. Okay, so the last step is 1 second, guys, again. All right, guys, so the next step is let's connect the battery here. And let's just make sure. And then let's just connect this little guy here real quick for just a moment. This should connect here, and we'll power it on. Okay. And that, you know, basically the gist of the rest is just to put the screws down, your plates, okay, and put the screws in and the top plate up, and then you're good to go. Just remember to connect this little guy to here before you seal it up. We use this B7000 glue. It's a great an adhesive to really seal down the frame without lifting later. And you can always reheat it again and to disconnect it as well. All right, guys, thank you so much. Check it out. If you like this video, please give us a like and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. All right, guys, thanks so much. Fix It Pros, and have a great day.